¿Qué tal? Internautas, o algo así era.
Internautas. Consumidores de internet. Y de drogas.
Va a tope. Total, para que ahora diga, empezamos en 3 años.
No les des ideas.
Curtains draw back to reveal the Accessibility
golpe.
Summer
No,
Showcase
de golpe.
logo, sponsored by Many Cat
Guapísimo.
Studios and Tech
A
Raptor.
ver. Que te ponga.
Hello,
Como tengo que
and
ponerte.
welcome to the 2026 Accessibility Summer Showcase. Now entering its 4th year, this event is still the only video game trailer showcase fully dedicated to
En
highlighting
Discord se
trailers for games
ve
that have made an effort to be accessible to a wide range of disabled
Okay.
players. I'm Laura Kate Dale,
tu
better known online as Laura K. Buzz.
directo de.
I'm a white woman with bright blue hair, shaved short on one side, wearing glasses and a deep blue dress. I know you're here for the video game trailers, so I'm going to try and keep this introduction brief.
Ahora sí.
Over the next 45 minutes or so, you're going to see a bunch of trailers for upcoming video games. Some of them are being made by disabled game developers, and all of them are being designed to be accessible to as wide a range of disabled players as possible. We can't promise that every video game in the showcase will be playable by every person tuning in, but our aim is to make sure that if a game seems exciting, you know up front whether or not you're going to be able to play it. Our hope is that for most of you tuning in, there will be at least a handful of games shown during the showcase that will have the correct mix of accessibility settings and
Enseñan ahí
features
todos los
that
juegos
you need to be
importantes
able to
aquí.
play the game upon release. If you want to see most of today's
Bloodborne.
games in one place, organised by accessibility
Bloodborne.
support type, you can check
Bloodborne
out our
piano.
Steam event page by going to bit.ly/Summer Showcase 2026. There you'll find demos for some of our games, as well as be able to wishlist any games that catch your eye. Our headline sponsors for this year's Accessibility Summer Showcase are Many Cat Studios and Tech. I'll have more information about both of our headline sponsors a little later in today's showcase. Until then, a huge thank you to both of them for their support. The Accessibility Summer Showcase is a non-profit event, and their support has been invaluable in allowing us to once again offer American Sign Language, British Sign Language, and audio-described versions of the showcase. Well, that's enough from me. Let's jump into the game trailers.
The Accessibility Summer Showcase logo transitions between trailers with the following sound effect.
Hi, I'm Tommy, one of 3 stunning developers from Daydream Gallery,
Pero
an
Trading
indie
Card
game
Inspect
collective creating
se ha cortado ahí.
extremely cool and unique experiences. Trading Card Inspector is a quirky, hilarious take on the cozy job simulator
vale, va
for a
pasando.
job that doesn't and shouldn't exist.
Ah,
Lo
You'll
tenéis
be
todo
asked by the
pensado.
nefarious Habubis Corporation to value real cards and shred fake cards from their award-winning trading card game. Along the way, you'll make friends, collect a
Unos
handsome
genios.
paycheck, and unravel a grand corporate conspiracy.
Trading cards with silly creatures like a missile-firing pterodactyl are placed into the center of the screen, then compared against type charts.
Our art style isn't just super slick, cool and cute, it's high contrast by default, with
Cool and
20
cute.
color palette options for you to unlock and choose from.
no, muy
You'll
verde.
be able to pick out the colors you find easiest to see, or whatever colors you find cool.
Color palettes are selected with exaggerated names such as Grass Shark Gambit or Blue Iris White Wyvern.
We've also added a pair of settings to increase the size of cards and memos, great for players using a small or handheld screen who may need assistance due to our 1-bit art style.
Selected cards automatically increase in size when hovered over in this mode.
We thought it was really important to avoid timed inputs. There can sometimes be a lot going on in Trading Card Inspector, so we
Se
wanted
ve
to
muy
give players
interesante, pero
all the
no
time
es
in
mi
the
tipo de
world to make
juego.
the right choices,
No.
both in gameplay and in the story. There is one gameplay modifier that adds some challenge by slowly dissolving the valuation criteria on the card over time. If that's not your cup of tea, you can turn it off in the pause menu anytime and choose not to enable it in endless mode, with no penalty.
A card depicting a small wizard in a large hat is compared against a valuation guide to assess its overall sale price.
All you need to play Trading Card Inspector is a mouse, or any pointing device where you can left-click and drag. It's as simple as that. You can also play this game with a controller or on your Steam Deck. In addition to the mouse controls, you can also press the up, down, left and right arrows on your keyboard or controller D-pad to change the
Ay,
value
que tengo
of
abierto los pescados.
In addition to all of that, we have custom volume
La pesca.
controls as well, and a dedicated option to remove unwanted rotation from our cards, making them easier to read.
Both
La pesca
sides of
mortal.
the sword
Claro, no creo que venga nadie a
card
pescar
are
hoy.
inspected before sale.
No.
Big
Ah,
thanks
no,
to
no.
Laura for putting this showcase together every year and for letting us be a part of it.
Nos
We
dice
hope to see
de
you when
iconos
Trading Card
abandonado.
Inspector launches very soon, this June.
Estoy muy
Free demo
somnoliento.
available now on Steam.
Sí, es que... Hoy hace sueño, la verdad.
A pixel art cyberpunk man is thrown out of a skyscraper window.
Welcome to Torment Hexus, a game about trying to fix the world, one dead CEO at a time.
Toma.
You're an ex-battle mage who has decided to solve the problem of capitalism by ejecting its leaders out the nearest window.
A ver,
Matar gente.
Torment
me
Hexus
gusta la
mixes
idea
tactical roguelike combat
de ir
and
por ahí
match-three puzzling
lanzando
into a
CEOs por las
Magitech
ventanas,
cyberpunk
la verdad.
setting. Gameplay is turn-based, with no time pressure on any inputs. It can be played with a mouse, keyboard, or gamepad. And of course, input bindings can be remapped. Visual effects like scan lines and bloom can be disabled for increased visual clarity. And for people with photosensitivity, we've added an option that swaps out the most intense visual effects with more simplified and subdued versions. The most exciting thing we're trying to do with Torment Hexus is make it accessible to blind and low sight individuals. The game exposes a running narration of events to the operating system, which can be vocalized by screen reading software like NVDA.
Tactical grid. You at F7 with 39/100 health. Tile is threatened by Ghost Alpha at F3. Deleter Alpha at D7. You can move left to E7. You can move right to G7. You
Bueno,
cannot
va
move to
toda
F6.
hostia el bicho
Well,
ese, ¿no?
You can move down to F8, but Tile is threatened by Ghost Alpha at F3. Wealth Mage Alpha
Pero
at
la
D7 with
voz,
20 health.
¿se
Raptor Alpha at
escucha?
C7 with 15 health.
Sí, sí.
Deleter Alpha at D7 with 20 health.
This is challenging work. The game has a lot
Ah.
going on, and
Se
it's
han
difficult
copiado
to present the
la
information the
IA.
player needs to know as a linear sequence
Se ha
of
puesto a
words.
tope.
We're working with consultants in the accessibility community to iterate on the tech, and we hope that the final game will be one that everyone can play.
In Colorbound, color is more than just hue. In this palette platformer, you play as Anku, an Aymara boy
Ya lo hemos
on a
visto,
journey
¿no?
to reunite his late grandfather's band.
Sí. Este es el de... Le enseñaron ayer
Los
en...
colorinchis.
Solve unique color-based puzzles
En el de la-
and experience a
latinoamericano.
heartwarming narrative
Bueno,
steeped in
el
South American
de
culture.
anterior también.
A panpipe pointer is used to activate colored platforms.
To keep the world vibrant while accommodating colorblind players, Colorbound includes 3 alternate color schemes. The Protanopia and Deuteranopia corrected palettes may be useful to those with red-green colorblindness, while the Tradenopia corrected palette can help with blue-yellow colorblindness.
The player attempts to reach paint drops by crossing colorful platforms.
For additional visual accessibility, players can disable camera shake, increase the size of the UI and cursor, and adjust resolution.
A ver, la resolución diría que en todos los juegos se puede. ¿eh?
Colorbound is designed to be approachable for players
ver.
with limited mobility.
Lo
Though
mismo
there
no,
are
¿eh?
some puzzles that involve timed inputs, they never require
Bueno, en
button
todos los
holds
juegos
or
que-
weapon presses.
Que no son una
Full input
mierda, no
remapping
te
is
imaginas.
available for keyboard, mouse, and controller. All mouse inputs can be remapped to keyboard controls, so the game is playable with just a keyboard. There are also presets for one-handed controls, allowing players to comfortably play the game with left or right hand alone.
The player attempts to rescue a man's lost llama.
There are no time limits on puzzles or penalties for making
En
mistakes.
los juegos de Bethesda no se
Most
puede.
puzzles can be solved
Mentira.
in only a few moves.
En el
If you
Fallout y
ever
todo
get
eso se
stuck,
puede, ¿no?
hints are available in all levels.
The book
Poner...
allows
Cambiar la
hints to be
resolución,
revealed
sí.
piece by piece.
Panpipe
Ladrón
Studio,
Ball.
with
Que yo
support
sepa.
from Whitethorn Games, has worked
También
hard to
recuerdo
make
que
the
en todo
game as
se puede.
inclusive and accessible as it can
A lo
be.
mejor en los
We hope
muy
you enjoy
antiguos,
playing Colorbound, releasing later this year on PC and
en plan,
consoles.
el Fallout
Released
1
in 2026 on Nintendo, PlayStation,
o algo de eso,
Xbox,
no
and
se puede,
PC.
pero de normal creo que sí.
Qué ganas
Hi
de que
there,
hagan
my
remakes,
name is Elizabeth
Del uno.
Simonsen, also
todos.
known
Del dos.
as Arevia
De todos.
Online,
Del
and
tres.
I am a
De todos.
disabled
Y del
gamer
cuatro.
and
No, del cuatro no.
accessibility consultant
El cuatro no.
from Norway. I'm a pale white woman in my 30s with dark blonde hair, wearing a green jacket and a white t-shirt. The next game that is coming up is the first big Norwegian game
gusta
I
que se
have had the honor to
describan
be an accessibility
Para que la
consultant
gente que no
for.
puede ver
Working with the developers at
sepa cómo son.
Megapulp
Mira
has been
toda ahí
an
en medio de YouTube, ¿no?
incredible experience. both
Sí,
due
y
to
un
their
plátano
constant want
gigante
to learn and
de
adapt to
esos
new
de
information,
del Lopo.
El Lopo,
and
¿qué?
due
Un
to their
gato
hope
muy
of
enfadado.
making this the most accessible reef builder out there. From the first
Y muchas
time I met the
plantas, no me
dev team
gusta.
at Megapop, it has been obvious to me that they truly value
Que
and
hagan un shooter en
understand
silla de
the need
ruedas.
for
Un
accessibility
shooter,
in
en verdad
gaming.
sería guapo.
They have
Pero
tirelessly
hicieron
met every barrier
el de
I
el
have
de
put
baloncesto,
down
¿no?
baloncesto, sí.
creativity, trying to expand what accessibility can be in this genre, while at the same time understanding their own limitation. It was especially impressive to see how Sieve, the UI and accessibility programmer, worked with making this game fully playable with both a controller and mouse only, developing an option for on-screen camera control and zoom. And with that, let me introduce you all to the next game made by Megapop and out now. This is Life Below.
Life Below.
This is Life Below, a
Oh.
city builder that takes place in the ocean.
Oh,
A reef
vale, no.
builder.
Beautiful coral reef
Oh,
they show.
oh.
Some are filled with
Oh, qué
life,
bonito.
others
City
trash
Builder,
like plastic
no.
bags. A tech tree is shown for
¿Pero qué
upgrades.
City va a hacer bajo el agua, hombre?
Porque en vez de City es Coral
Accessibility has been
Builder.
a priority for us since the start. The goal is to make Life Below as
Age
fun
of
and
Empires,
playable
pero de
for anyone
corales.
who wants to play it. That means not just adding some settings, but trying to bake in accessibility into the game itself. Let me show you what I mean. We can start by picking a difficulty mode. We have peaceful,
Mierda.
challenge, and then we also have balance. We of course have to add
Pace-
time controls,
paceful,
and most people
sí.
don't think
Peaceful.
of this as accessibility, but it allows you to pace the game however you
Se
want.
puede
We also have
construir
some
y ya.
settings related to that, like pausing during critical moments automatically, pausing when
No,
the
pero
game's
pone que hay
not focused,
critical
like
moments, o
when
sea que hay
your cursor leaves the
dificultad
screen,
y van a
or
pasar
if
cosas
you're
malas.
in a very complex menu.
Sí,
We've
según la
also
dificultad
added
que
a
pongas.
bunch of tooltips to help you guide through the game. My favorite example is when you're placing down buildings. The coral is red, and it's explaining to me exactly why I can't place it here. We have a few UI settings, like changing the scale here,
¿Cuántos City Builders han
change
visto?
the
Hostia,
transparency
pues,
of UI
un
objects,
Cristo.
and reduce the
Bueno,
motion.
no, no
basic
tantos, a lo
motion
mejor 10
Como
o así.
tres
You
o,
can
como
control
tres o
the
cuatro.
camera sensitivity and the scroll sensitivity and a few other motion settings here.
Pero entre
Life
City
Below is
Builders
compatible
y
with pretty
cosas
much
de
anything
recursos y
that your
tal,
computer
pues, me da
recognizes
pereza.
as a controller, something like a gamepad, but also like an Xbox adaptive controller. But you can also play the entire game with just a mouse, with the on-screen camera control setting, which opens up the game to be played with the eye tracking technologies. We also can't forget about the rebinding menu, where you can rebind most actions, which lets you infinitely customize the way you interact with Life Below. We've also got other motor function-based settings in here, like input cooldown and stamp style multi-selection, and we've been really careful about not adding any QuickTime events or rapid button presses into the game. We are super proud of the features, however there are some things we couldn't add. Text-to-speech and high-contrast UI modes will sadly not be available. The game is also stereo only, so you can't switch it to mono audio. And although we do have difficulty modes, you can't change these in the middle of the game. We felt like that was kind of important to mention. Okay, so to summarize, we have custom time
Después de
control
esto-
with unique cognitive settings, UI scaling
Borderlands?
and reduced UI animations, motion sickness settings. The game can be played with just a mouse, but we offer a variety of control methods, and additional
dicho que no?
water settings.
Va.
We hope to
Ah,
see
vale.
you in the reef in Life Below.
Has dicho que no, pa.
Burros.
Enough wasting
Tardaban.
time. Let's get to work.
Hello, I'm Fabrice Breton, a French developer. You might
Celsius
know
Stray.
my previous game, Brock the Investigator, an adventure game mixed with beat 'em up, which has full accessibility to blind players. This is our new project, Celsius Strays, made in collaboration with Cypher, an American friend, artist and writer.
Son como
In this game,
ratas.
taking place in the same
Son ratas.
dystopian universe, we are exploring a group of rat characters named Squealers in a visual novel focused on survival.
Ratas furrificadas.
where you make choices that matter with multiple endings.
Celsius Stray's characters are large, burly biker rats.
Se le han metido
in a
de
modern
todo, para
metropolitan city.
accesibilidad.
The game has
¿Qué
full
cojones?
voice acting and the
Vaya
accessibility
curro.
offers narrated menus, large fonts, hotspots with arrow keys and
Ratas
more.
mamadísimas, sí,
I'll
sí.
add audio descriptions for the release.
Mira, el maestro
The demo
Mutton
is
Rossi, no,
available
eso no.
on Steam, GOG,
Splinter.
and itch.io,
Ese.
and I invite you to wishlist social
El
streams
maestro
on
Muten
Steam.
Rossi.
A ese le gustan los usos maduros, puede ser.
What? Time's up. There's nowhere left to run to now. Chief.
Solo que no me ha quedado claro de qué va el juego.
Celsius
Tapón.
Strays. Limited time demo now available on Steam. A young girl sits drawing at a table.
I'm Evie. This is my room.
De
I
ratas.
like purple.
Sí.
People always say I see the world differently, which is weird, because I can see it just fine.
De ratas
Oh,
mamadas.
the leaves are so crunchy. It's the hearing it and the smelling it and the everything at once thing. That's the tricky part. But I have a system. My favorite pen. Why is it here?
Between shots of walking around school, Evie is seen obsessively organising her schedule
Vamos,
and
que
the
eso dice la
physical
niña.
layout of her
Ya está.
school stationery supplies.
Canvas of
Un
Thoughts
juego
was
de
built
cuando iba al
around
cole.
different
Qué
ways
pocas
of
ganas, la
experiencing the
verdad.
world.
Yeah, I did most of it.
Sensory-aware gameplay and player-paced interactions.
Tick, tock, tick, tock.
Customizable accessibility settings, including colorblind support, and adjustable dialogue pacing. A safe space to slow down, stim, and recover. Created alongside neurodiverse community feedback.
I should not open that.
Evie is seen shaking her hands back and forth in an attempt to emotionally self-soothe, known as stimming.
I like
Pues a ti si le cambias
some
algo de su
parts.
rutina asesinar a
I know
todos
that.
en un radio de
People
área.
really well sometimes.
Es verdad eso, es verdad. O sea, depende
Canvas
del,
of
del nivel
Thoughts is fully
de
voice acted
autismo,
in both
pero
English
sí.
and German.
A mí me pasó el otro día.
Hey,
Maté a
why
35
do you
personas.
always draw by yourself?
Pero no tiene nada que ver con el autismo.
Because it's quieter.
Solo estaban ahí y mira, pum.
Canvas of Thoughts.
Estaban ahí y pum.
Play the demo now.
Pasó lo que,
Funded by
lo que tenía que
the
pasar.
Business Agency and City of Vienna.
Wishlist Canvas of Thoughts on Steam.
Hello again. I hope you're enjoying the showcase so far. I'm popping in briefly to tell you a little bit more about this year's headline sponsors, Manycat Studios and TechRaptor. Manycat Studios is a disabled-led accessibility consultancy, supporting game studios in building inclusive and accessible experiences from
cogió el hombro.
concept to release.
Joder.
As a disabled-led team, Manycat Studios
viejo ya.
partners with the games industry to create more accessible
Aquí
games,
todo el mundo está viejo.
ensuring that players of all abilities can participate in their love of gaming. The studio operates with authenticity and a commitment to a healthy, sustainable remote work culture. TechRaptor.net is a games media website, founded back in 2013, that publishes high-quality news, reviews, opinions, features, and guides for both video games and tabletop games. As someone who has been a staff writer, freelancer, and editor at a number of major games media websites over the last decade, I can vouch for the quality of writing and reporting.
Sí que tiene el
over at
peinadico,
TechRaptor. They have a firm anti-AI stance,
Aunque bueno, Skrillex se lo
but
copiaron a
a portion of their
lesbianas, o sea
profits
que...
each year towards supporting great causes. You can find their
Entendido,
coverage
a
at
Skrillex se lo comieron las lesbianas.
I imagine by the time you're seeing this, there'll
También,
already be a
también.
great write-up of the 2026 Accessibility Summer Showcase live on their website. Thanks
No,
again to
Skrillex
both
le copió el
Manycat
peinado a
Studios
las
and
lesbianas.
TechRaptor for their support
Ah.
of this year's showcase. Their support
Ahora
has made
empieza-
our
ya era
accessible
mejor.
adaptive
Empieza a sonar
showcase
Bangarang.
what's possible. Anyway, time to get back to the game trailers.
A CRT TV turns on with static.
Juego ya
Dave
de-
appears with a pixel art hiker traversing a side-scrolling
And
stage.
in Playable
He's
Game,
struggling to make basic jumps due to an awkward control scheme.
Hi, I'm Yamako,
Ah, que hay
a
que
solo
controlar con
indie
el
game
ratón.
developer, and I
El
make games
control.
under the name
Madre mía.
./badgames.zip.
qué barbaridad.
This is my first project released
Las
last
lesbianas
October
tienen siempre
called
corte escolar
An
de niño o
Unplayable
el de
Game.
Skrillex.
It's a short puzzle platformer that's about
No,
accessibility settings
hay
in
todo
video
tipo de
games,
lesbianas.
with half an hour of developer commentary that's unlocked when you reach the end.
The player, using a single mouse pointer, struggles to
Hermano,
click
qué
both
barbaridad,
jump
¿no?
and a direction at once.
The game is designed to fully accommodate players who typically can't play platformers because of the dexterity and timing that's required to play them.
Nah,
It's
está
only
muy
about
desesperante
15
ya no podré
minutes long
jugarlo.
at most to avoid fatigue.
Ah, que dura
and
15
It was
minutos.
designed for comfortable mouse-only single-button controls, or gamepad with a virtual cursor, if you prefer. You won't need to hold down any buttons or keys, as it's completely beatable with only short presses. You also don't need to worry about dealing with tight timing, even on difficult jumps. There are game speed settings that let you play entirely at your own pace with no timed input whatsoever.
The player, refusing to turn on accessibility settings, struggles with a basic jump.
For those that might have issues reading the game's stylized pixel font, there's also a toggle to switch it to Atkinson Hyperlegible, which is a sans serif font with a focus on distinct letter forms.
Joder, la resolución.
As a final note, the main menu does include an ongoing static noise, but for those who are bothered by those repetitive noises, there's a prompt to mute that sound effect completely before you even reach the main menu for the first time. So, if you don't want to hear it, you never have to.
No lo sé, no juego nunca.
The player continues the impossible task of trying to click 2 inputs at once with a single mouse.
An Unplayable Game was a huge passion project for me, and I truly hope you enjoy it. So far, it's been nominated for 3 awards, and even won an award for Most Innovative Game at a local indie game showcase event. It also has a 94% very positive review score on Steam, and it's free, downloadable on Steam or playable in-browser on itch.io. Thank you for your time and for your interest in an Unplayable Game. Now, please enjoy the rest of the showcase.
The player still continues not to use accessibility settings, remaining stuck on a single jump.
Highway Noir is a stylized arcade driving game that drops you into car chases straight out of an action movie. You will weave through traffic as you escape police, take down enemies, and race against the clock, all in stark black and white with flashes of colour. When you land in the main menu of Highway Noir, you can jump into Instaplay mode with a single click. Optional customization of features like objective, number of police, and traffic density are available. For the campaign, the story so far recap is offered, but no spoilers here. Moving on. Story missions include voice dialogue to drive the plot and feed you objectives. The volume of dialogue, music, and sound effects can all be adjusted separately, and subtitles are on by default. Context can be enabled that flag up if a character is angry or being sarcastic, for example.
While driving through a city, a conversation takes place between a shadowy hooded figure and a woman in a smart business suit.
Minimalist white text on black fits the neo-noir aesthetic, but it can be tweaked for visibility. There is an option to simply increase the size of all UI elements on screen, as well as a toggle to black text on white.
The player's white car dodges and weaves between yellow enemy racers on a busy street.
For gameplay itself, Vision Assist will emphasize obstacles and gameplay elements. Objectives, threats, and rivals are always color-coded, so you know what you're dealing with. The color codes can be customized for a palette with colorblindness-friendly options.
Police cars, highlighted in pink, can be crashed into and run off of the road mid-street car chase.
Highway Noir is fast and chaotic, but even here help is at hand. A game speed slider allows you to slow down the action, giving you more room to breathe. That action can be controlled by keyboard, controller, or even mouse alone.
The street racer is seen weaving between traffic in a range of locations, including under a multi-lane car bridge tunnel.
Goy slope or gay slope?
All of these settings can be used independently to give you maximum control over your experience. Make the road your battleground and take down the conspiracy in whatever way works for you. Highway Noir is out now and available on Steam.
In Jig Ripped, the world is a giant jigsaw puzzle. Play as Bert, a castaway on a mythical island that is broken into many pieces. Connect puzzle pieces to explore new paths, discover hidden items, and reassemble the scattered world. Just like life on the tropical island you wash ashore on, the game moves at a relaxed, stress-free pace. Complete puzzles and platforming sections without any time limits or punishments for failure. There are no quick time events, long button holds, or rapid presses. As you reassemble Jig Island, you'll meet the three-eyed frogs who call it home. If you ever get stuck on a puzzle, some of them might be able to give you a hint. Progress dialogue at your own speed, and repeat conversations as often as you need. For example, you can replay the tutorial by talking to Henriette in her house on the starting island.
An older female frog says, "Not so
Rebinding
easy,
is available for
it?"
keyboard and controller inputs. You can separately invert controls for camera movement, zoom, and puzzle piece movement. There are a few options to help with visual accessibility. Choose between 4 cursor sizes: small, default, large, and extra large. Swap between light or dark mode for text boxes. Increase the field of view to see more of the world, or decrease it to reduce distractions in your periphery. The teams at Empty Castle and Whitethorn Games are so excited to share Jig Rift with you. Look forward to the release later this year on PC and consoles.
La lista de Einstein, Dios mío. No sé ni qué he dicho, estoy cansado en verdad.
I'm a disabled gamer and content creator, and you can find me primarily on Twitch, but in all of the other places under the name Hello, it's Colo. When thinking about why games accessibility is important to me, it's a really interesting one because actually, it's not really about the games. Hear me out. It is about the games. I love gaming. Gaming is my job, it is my hobby, it is my community. It is about the games, but actually it's more than that. When a game is accessible for me, it's about being included. It's about being invited, being acknowledged. It's about being able to access something as independently as possible or completely independently in a world where independent access isn't actually that common. So when a developer adds accessible options, to me, it's important because it's an acknowledgement. It's a recognition. It's a, we see you and we haven't excluded you. And that is worth its weight in gold. Games accessibility is important to me because it allows me to do something independently, to have agency, to belong to a community, and to feel acknowledged. And also to play really cool games. I know at the start I said it wasn't about games, but it's also about the really cool games too. So to all of the developers out there and the creators out there going out of their way to make their media accessible, thank you. It doesn't go unnoticed.
Hey, I'm Talon, and I was one of the judges on the Games for Blind Gamers 5 Game Jam. As all of the previous jams, this one was a blast, and I want to talk you through some of the games that came out of this jam. We had a lot of groups this time around as well, so quite a bit fewer solo
Hablando de que los juegos son algo
developers,
bonito y el LoL
which is
amenazando
always
de
great to see.
muerte.
And
Bueno,
nothing illustrates
últimamente
this
está
more
más
than
relajado el LoL.
the top 2 games
Podemos
that
otra
were
cosa.
selected by the judges for
Ahora,
the Games for Blind Gamers
ahora
Jam
caos.
5. The top spot is taken
Que no
by
siga el
Valencia
tontito.
Tales, and this one is an
Valencia
ambitious game,
Tales?
and it's heavily inspired by The Legend of Zelda, and it basically takes all of the boxes. It's a first-person action-adventure game where your goal is to save Valencia from the clutches of evil. You do this by utilizing your divining rod, which basically lets you see what's around you in the world.
Hello,
So you
Valencia
can
Tales.
turn around and it will tell you what's in front of you and what's around you. It has features for locking on to different things like landmarks
Pero no
or
está en Steam,
buildings
está
or
en itch.io.
waypoints.
Está en
And
itch.io.
it also helps you with combat, so it tells you how far away you are from an enemy. And all of these things happen in the game world. There's no separate fighting modality or anything like that. The story is really nice, and there's a bunch of cutscenes, and there are boss fights with different mechanics for different bosses.
Pero
There
no están enseñando nada,
are
¿no?
puzzles, small
No.
puzzles that you have to solve to progress from one area to another.
A lo mejor
And
se
for a
olvida
game made in
darle
such a short time, there's a
entender.
surprising amount of variety in there, together with the music and the area descriptions and all of the dialogue. And it was a very enjoyable experience, and I was definitely surprised to play it as a game
Los jugadores,
for the Games
los
for Blind
jugadores
Gamers
hardcore
Jam.
del LoL se habrán
You
muerto de un
my
infarto de
chicken
tanta
finder.
obesidad. Dios mío.
Have I never shown you before?
También es un juego para ciegos, lo mismo que
Find my
tampoco me
chickens
importa
when
mucho
they get out.
lo que enseñe, sino lo que se
Mighty
escuche.
fancy, but I'm pretty sure that's all it does. Finds chickens.
We tend to not get these kinds of games very
Valencia
heavily,
Tales, cocaína y marihuana.
especially
Malagueo.
not these ambitious kinds
¿No
of
te
games.
unes?
But we got multiple of them this year because number 2 in the list is Impulse Response, which is a game oozing with atmosphere and amazing voice acting and a gripping story, which I don't want to spoil too much because I think both of these
Okay.
games are definitely worth playing through. It's a first-person puzzle game, I would say. There's a number of puzzles which get progressively more difficult as you play through the game. And with each one you complete, you unlock more of the story, which is basically told by your characters as you progress through the game. You uncover clues as you go. It's a horror-themed game, so the music and the voice acting and all of the sound effects match that atmosphere perfectly. And this one has a special mechanic where the acoustics of the room are actually modeled in code. So you hear the reverb where the room opens up. You have a mechanic where you can basically clap or like tap your foot, and it will play a click sound, which will then echo through the room and tell you where you can go and where you cannot.
Yellow alert. Reactor offline.
Okay, shut up.
Yellow login success. Engineer cadence.
¿A quién le están diciendo Sarah tú? ¿A mí estás diciendo Sarah?
Yeah, health check, then I can get out of the cryo room.
There's a fair number of logic puzzles in this, and I found those to be very enjoyable. Number 3 in the list is Delver's Folly, and this is quite a different game, but it's no less ambitious. It's a roguelike where you basically navigate through a dungeon. You're trying to find the boss. Every time you move to a different section of the dungeon, you get to choose from a list of 3 rooms, which it could be. A lot of these rooms have different properties and different things that they can do. For example, you can grow things if you have the prerequisite rooms linking to it, or you have a chain which is unbroken to that room. For example, water. You can search for materials in each room, or for keys or other things. And there's a lot of variety in this game. This one you can also play for a very long time, and there's a lot of replayability in this. There's also amazing voice acting in this, which gives the game a lot of character. I highly recommend you play this one if you like this kind of game. Number 4 is a game made by one of our regulars, Shift Backtick. In Omega Reach, you explore the universe. You are the curator of a conservatory, and you're tasked with finding instruments and interesting facts about planets and their surrounding space. There's a ton of content here, and you can play each of those instruments. And maybe it also has a dungeon of its own to explore. Some fun little characters, and the writing is definitely very unique and definitely very Shift Backtick. So if you love their games, you should absolutely play this one also. All of the sound design is synthesized in real time, but where most of Shift Backtick's games are first-person games, this one is a little bit of a different perspective. And number 5 is Fourfold Onslaught, a wave-based first-person zombie shooter with fantastic audio and lots of ways to upgrade your character as you play. The sound design in this one is fantastic. Lots of binaural audio goodness. And it definitely gets quite challenging as time progresses. There are so many games in this game jam that I think are worth playing, so I don't really have the time to go through all of them. But some notable mentions, And Then She Slept, which I would classify as a kind of Five Nights at Freddy's style game where you protect your sister from evil monsters and help her to fall asleep. Toasty, which is a fun little card game where you have to make toast and not sandwiches. Tape Memories, where you zoom in on different tracks of different audio to figure out what happened last night, and many, many, many more. We've had 35 entries in total, from maze games to visual novels, reaction games, platformers. Some games were more prototype, some were finished. So it was a nice bunch of different things this time around. This was also the first Games for Blind Gamers Jam that happened after Godot added Access Kit integration to their games and the editor. And this is an exciting development because it means that for the first time, blind people actually get access to a fully featured game engine without having to write everything by hand or use code-first frameworks. This should open up exciting new collaboration avenues in the future, because before now it was pretty difficult for blind and sighted developers to collaborate together.
Los distribuidores se habían instalado en todos los PC de los Windows.
An engine-based workflow. So if you are a developer and you're thinking of making something like this, or if you're interested in audio games, or if you're blind and you want more games to play, I would highly recommend checking out the Game Jam and all of the previous Game Jams, and keeping feelers out for any future Game Jams. Anyway, that's it from me, and I hope this was interesting to you.
Hello again, everyone. I hope you're continuing to enjoy this year's Accessibility Summer Showcase. I'm just popping in quickly to let you know that art asset production for the showcase this year is sponsored by Riot Rockette, a queer art punk collective that blends elements of psychopop and circus dance in their live performances. Here's a brief snippet of one of their songs, Circadian Rhythm.
Now and gentlemen, gorgeous dolls, grotesqueries, we welcome you to a lovely evening with Riot Rocket. Feast your eyes on wonderful sights you'll see tonight. Bang, bang, can't shoot me down. Bang, bang, here comes another round. Bang, bang, can't shoot me down. Bang, bang, here comes another round. The carousel it leaps and bounds, and here comes the clown. What you waiting for?
Their debut album, Idiot Savant-Garde, is out
Era
now.
como algo que saldría de Jardín
You
Hotel.
can find a link to it down in the video
No lo sé, la
description.
verdad. A ver, Jardín Hotel
Hello
suele ser
everyone,
más
we are the
animadas.
Ludenio team,
de canciones.
and this is us in the game we're currently developing. It's called Super Weird. In this game, you and your friends, or all by yourself, control little robots.
Pill-shaped robots wearing beanie hats are produced by a rusty machine.
You have an infinite number of them, but they are of very poor quality.
Many of the robots fall apart with no visible damage dealt to them.
They can walk, mine, carry stuff, craft various things, and fight.
El arte
We are
parece un
able
poco
to
de
improve
Don't
them,
Starve.
and we can program them, but the robots are of such poor quality that they don't even remember their own program and only execute the single command they encounter.
Physical signposts, when touched, change each robot's direction and behavior.
Más cartoon.
For example, to mine, or to carry
¿Qué es
wood, or to use
automatizador?
various items we've
Eso
made for
parece.
them. And this is how we build our massive automated system
wow.
in a fragmented world.
Small robots' heads are shown moving across a zoomed-out map.
We're rebuilding
Hola,
it piece
Guard.
by piece,
Es
and these
un
pieces
juego
are
de
locations
automatización
where we
con
can discover
robots.
new resources, advanced technologies,
De
and even
automatizar
fresh
robots.
sources of robots. In the end, our system can
De
help us
comer
defeat the
robots.
main mega robot. That's why our system needs to be reliable and efficient.
Robots with swords attack a large monster robot.
We want the world of Super Weird to be open to everyone, and to make it happen, we're focusing on these accessibility options. The interface
Parece
is
guapo.
easy to adjust.
Si te gusta este tipo
You
de
can
juegos, sí.
increase menu
A mí es
contrast
que me da un poco
or
igual.
choose a color profile that best fits your vision.
Está bonito y tiene muchas
To help you
opciones de
stay
accesibilidad y
focused,
eso.
the cursor and tooltips can be scaled up, so important details are always in clear view. Neutral speech synthesis is available for interface and dialogues.
Upgrade yourself. Let's show those tin cans they are not any better than living beings.
You're free to choose the most comfortable look for your hero. Every color scheme is designed to be easily readable in-game. Controls are fully remappable, and instead of holding down buttons, you can simply set your
Parece
direction
inspirado en
with
Cruz
a
de
single
Lam.
click.
Habíamos dicho que parecía el
Everyone
Don't
is
Starve.
welcome in the world of Super Weird. Let's
Pero
build
sí,
it
también
together.
tiene un rollito cult.
Lo de la vez más.
Hey everyone, I'm super
No
excited
sé,
to
estilizado
tell you a bit
como
about
también
Heartless,
está-
our Spyro and Zelda-inspired adventure game where you play as a magical
Heartless.
dog. We are a
Soy
small
una
team of
oveja
3
ahí
people at the
rumiando.
core, and the hero of our game is actually inspired by my real-life companion. From the start,
Claro.
we wanted accessibility to be part of our design philosophy
juego de
instead of something we
pastorear
only think
ovejas.
about at the end.
A fluffy and athletic black and white dog jumps across floating stone platforms and bridges, collecting
no,
glowing
es un-
purple crystal fragments, before dashing through a
Plataforma.
grassy field.
Con un perrachi.
Vi un vídeo y pensé que era el trailer de
One
un juego.
conscious
Es una
choice we
conferencia.
made was to keep the controls consistent throughout the game. You do not level up
Es
or
una
unlock
conferencia de
new
videojuegos.
powers.
Llevamos
Instead, you rescue
toda la
magical
semana
creatures
con
called Heartless,
conferencias.
and they give you contextual
Ayer
abilities
hice,
while
ayer
keeping
hice,
the
bueno,
control
del
scheme
lunes
the
hasta
same.
ahora he
They let
hecho
you
y mañana
bounce,
más y ahora no
glide,
sé, haré
break
más.
walls, swim up waterfalls, and more. New hurdles open up additional paths through our world, and they allow for all sorts of emergent gameplay. There are always multiple ways to progress, so where you go and what you choose to do is completely up to you. We also have puzzles in our game, but if a puzzle does not work for you, we do not want that to be a barrier. You can get hints, disengage easily, or use options including auto-solving the puzzle.
Hola.
Square tiles float in a purple void. When rearranged, they create a blue path across the void to the exit.
There is no combat or death in hurdles. So if you miss a jump and fall down, you do not just respawn at the top and have to try again. Instead, you continue on your way and you might even discover something new. Something you might have missed if you had made the jump. Speaking of jumping, we added options like platform snapping and ledge guard. For some players, these can make platforming less frustrating, and for blind and low vision players, options like these can be essential to making the game playable at all. We already have a lot of accessibility features in the game. Things like a high contrast mode that lets you define the colors, but also sliders for brightness, contrast and saturation. Options that let you play one-handed, or give you more control over character mechanics like changing how jumping or running works. Other options help with different types of motion sickness. We generally try to provide as many ways as we can to let you customize the experience to your needs. One of our favorite features is that everything that is a toggle in the options menu can be mapped to a button. So for example, if you only need high contrast in certain situations, you can bind it to a button. Then you just turn it on when you need it, do the thing, and turn it off again afterwards. We want accessibility to be accessible during play, not hidden away in menus. Starting today, we are running a closed playtest with a focus on accessibility and would really appreciate your feedback. You can sign up now at playhurdles.com. The website also has a list of all current accessibility options available in the game. If Hurdles seems interesting to you, please consider wishlisting and joining our community.
Frame of Mind, a game of thoughts, plays with inclusion, representation and accessibility. It's made by me, a disabled developer, to share some experiences and insights.
Que da mucho miedo.
You can expect easy controls, light mechanics and heavy topics.
No me acuerdo exactamente cómo era, pero sé cuál dices.
You're exploring a house. The player stops to examine a crafted skull covered in intricate patterns.
Frame of Mind has you discover a totally typical girl through finding mementos, listening to memories and making decisions that don't really have good answers. If that sounds difficult, maybe you can relate to her struggle, and perhaps even benefit from one of the aids you can find as you go through her room.
On a corkboard, the player combines partial thoughts to come up with ideas.
I don't want to take that challenge away from you, but I do want you to make informed decisions about your own mental health.
Qué bellas.
The premises and topics of the game are described in detail, so you can read up on what to expect. Content notes will give you a heads up about sensitive issues for each mental that you can find. And if you don't want to listen to the emotional retrospectives, you can choose to mute the voiceover or even skip as many of the memories as you want.
A story describes
esa es la gracia del documental, no te lo voy a explicar, ¿sabes?
is getting in the way of drama practice.
But it's still a game to struggle with your feelings and not a game to struggle against my controls. So by design, it's very accessible for players with motor disabilities. It's a walking simulator with no complex inputs required. You can always save and come back later. And while there is one rushed story decision for you to make, you can help yourself in the settings if you really want to experience the time-sensitive timeline.
The player stands in a train station, explores a station map, then boards an empty train by themselves.
In terms of accessibility, I ensure legibility through good fonts, good contrast and proper scaling by default. If you need more control, you can adjust audio levels, reduce
para eso salgo de mi casa, para entrar en un metro.
High frequency filters. And if my selection of legible fonts doesn't meet your needs, you can just use one from your system configuration instead.
The game's developer showcases visually the accessibility settings options previously verbally discussed.
Sadly, some of my original plans, especially full screen reader support, a simplified control scheme and closed captions, did not yet work out. But you can play the game blind with an assistant and all important dialogue is always displayed via text.
Pero aquí en el juego está vacío, el de verdad huele a ovo y hay gente. Eso es verdad.
An extensive list of supported features, planned features and known issues is linked on our store page.
Frame of Mind, a game of thoughts. The logo is surrounded by complex teenage thoughts including, I like boy stuff. That has my mother worried.
Hi everyone, my name is Leo. My pronouns are they, them. And I am a disabled gamer and accessibility advocate. Gaming accessibility is important because everyone should be able to access the self-care and social benefits of gaming. So many wonderful people, including my husband and many of my friends. I cherish memories of meeting new people and connecting with others through a love of gaming. When I first became disabled, I was worried I would not be able to participate in those activities anymore because I could no longer use a standard video game controller. However, thanks to the work of incredible accessibility advocates before me, I've still been able to play many video games and make new memories.
¿Qué conferencia es esta,
I'm thankful
por
to the game
cierto?
developers
La
in
de
the
accesibilidad.
showcase that have made
Oye,
accessibility
Carlos,
a priority.
que vaya bien.
If a game is made accessible for even just one more person, it makes a world of difference. I can't wait to see what this year in accessible gaming brings.
Hello again, I'm Yamako, and I'm
Hola.
a solo developer making games under the name
Hola.
/badgames.zip. And this is Piecewise. It's my second game, and I tried to keep it pretty simple, just a daily puzzle game where the puzzles change every day. Though puzzles
Un
might
juego de
be a
puzzles
bit of a
diario.
stretch, the goal
Son
is to put
deberes.
each of these shapes in its matching slot. And
Sí,
gameplay-wise, you've got 2 hands to work with. That's where
Soy
the
un
skill
ilusivo.
expression, or skill ceiling, or whatever comes from.
Bright, colourful shapes
Porque he
surround a
dicho,
grid of squares
"Hola".
and silhouettes.
Ya ha
The
dicho
player
Dragon
can
Ball,
pick up
soy
any
un
shape into a
ilusivo.
left or right hold
está.
slot, then
No sé.
place it into its matching silhouette.
No sé de los Simpsons.
Now, there's quite a lot of shapes
Ah, de los
and quite a lot of
Simpson.
slots.
¿Pero de
and
dónde va a
you've
ser
got limited
Homero
time to
chino?
get it done.
¿De
And
China? No,
your
de los
first
Simpsons.
try each day will get ranked on the
De los
online
Chinchón.
leaderboards. Everything after that is
Chin,
just
chin, chin,
practice, and you can practice as much as you want. But that first try, where you're seeing today's shapes for the first
Se
time,
puedes hacer
is
runs de
pure
práctica las que
skill.
quieras,
And that's
pero
why it's so
el
important.
intento te lo comes y si fallas te comes una mierda.
So I made this game with the personal goal of improving my skills as a developer, and I kept a small scope so that I could meet myself where I'm at with a reasonable challenge for my skill level. And that's what I'm inviting you to do when you play Piecewise. You can fully customize the time limit to fit
Creo
your
que no llega a
skill
España,
level,
los memes se tardan
since everyone's
en
different.
llegar allá.
But no matter what, you'll
Van
want to
en
make
barco,
sure
no
that
sé.
time limit is challenging
Allá.
for you.
¿Qué?
Your chosen time
¿Una
limit
abeja
will
allá?
determine a multiplier that
Supone
gets
que los
applied
memes
to your
tardan en
raw
llegar
final
allá,
time.
pero si el de
In
2008
other
tiene
words, the
500
more
años.
that you set your time limit, the more
Más o
your
menos,
final
mirad.
time gets reduced.
Lo que
And
pasa
the
que
better
yo
your ranked
vivo
time
aislado
becomes.
de las redes sociales, hijo
So
mío.
don't set the limit too low,
Viva
or
aislado de
you'll
la vida.
fail and your run won't be ranked.
Pero
But
como
don't set
no
it
ves
too
mis
high
TikToks,
either,
pues...
as too much of a safety net means that your multiplier will be worse.
De hecho, los tuyos sí.
Ole, de mis TikToks. Qué bien.
Bueno, los shorts más bien, pero sí.
Ah, bueno, vale, me sirve.
So instead of me making static
Es que yo estoy en
difficulties,
YouTube, no
each
estoy en ningún
player
otro
gets to
sitio.
set their own level of challenge, and you're encouraged to make it as hard as possible to get the best times. If you think you can beat the board in 30 seconds, you've got one shot to prove your skills.
No, ya has perdido.
There are daily online leaderboards for each board in the game, if you like competition, but they're not really the focus.
Es el juego de
There's
bebé
a full
speedrunner.
records browser for you to track your own
Bebé
personal skill
speedrunner.
improvement. And in the
Te
full
lo
version
juro,
of the
eh.
game, I'll be adding bonus modes for even more offline content.
Modes include
Pones al bebé con el ratón y dice, venga,
sharps,
empieza la carrera.
everything, 6x6,
Te gana
and
siempre.
marathon mode.
And
Ojalá.
finally, let's talk accessibility to round things out. Aside from the flexible difficulty, the game's colors are calculated to always guarantee high contrast, even though the colors change daily.
Cacahuete.
On the topic of visuals, you're also able to turn off the floating shapes in the background in case that constant movement back there causes any kind of motion sickness. It'll instead be replaced with a static, solid color background.
Ah, pues yo lo dejaría así.
There's also an alternate toggle-based control scheme for players who might have trouble holding down the buttons, and, of course, an alternate font if you don't like the pixel text. And there's full controller support, alongside a mouse-only control scheme that supports one-handed play. It's a simple game, but I'm really proud of it. I had a great time making it, and I hope you like it. The demo is out now on Steam, with an itch.io web build coming soon, and the full game
Steam.
releasing soon after that. For updates and news, you can find badgames.zip on Patreon to get important info sent straight to your email for free. And I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching my trailer. This took way too long to make, but I hope I explained everything well enough and made it understandable. I hope you liked the trailer, and I hope you thought my game looked fun. So, thanks for watching again, and take care.
Gather your allies, eliminate angels, transform
Nada que
into a
ver.
magical
Este lo
girl,
enseñaron ayer.
slay God.
También.
In Colonel Hearts,
Que
fight
salían
your
todos
way
los
through
youtubers,
angel-infested
los VTubers.
domains alone
No,
or
es
in a
otro,
team of up
es
to
otro.
4 players.
No, es el mismo.
Mix and match your
¿Sí?
attacks, spells,
Sí.
and movement in each
Hostia,
run to
pues,
unleash
así me
devastating
enteré yo.
combos on enemies.
In third person, a young woman battles
Ustedes me
Hostia,
rompan, no
style
tiene...
The
Pero
developers
Nada que ver, cabrón, pero ¿qué dices?
have designed
Perdona, pero yo esto lo vi.
Ayer, claro.
Que sí, que ha dicho que sí. Yo he dicho que no me acuerdo. No, pues es la verdad.
Ah, vale. Lo que has dicho no tiene nada que ver.
No, el que tan la rompa. Lo he dicho ahorita.
Ah.
Default balanced experience.
¿Y eso quién lo ha dicho?
Dragon Ball.
Hardcore mode for those looking for an extra
Ah, el Dragon Ball. Z, GT.
Every rest
Ojete.
area includes a playroom.
Ojete,
Players can
vale.
practice movement and attacks at their leisure. To make inputs easier to
Zeta.
remember, there is an option
Está
to
bien.
keep a list of controls visible on the left
A
side
mí
of
me
the
gusta más el
screen at
GT.
all times.
Lo siento, soy de esos.
The player
A mí
character
me
jumps,
gusta, a mí me gustan los
dashes
monos.
through the air while performing melee
Dragon Ball
combat.
catalán,
Full
por lo que veo,
remapping
vale.
is available for keyboard and controller. Players can separately adjust the sensitivity of the left and right analog sticks, invert their X and Y axes, and
le gusta
enable
el
or
ojete, aquí a
disable
nadie.
vibrations.
A la gente
There
le
are a
gusta ver
variety of
sapitos.
options for visual comfort. Toggle motion blur,
Es verdad.
bloom, and screen shake effects to reduce eye strain while traversing the overworld. Text boxes are high contrast with white text on dark gray backgrounds. In multiplayer, each player can advance dialogue at their own pace, and combat won't begin until all players are ready.
The player dashes across a desert, collecting
En el
colorful
directo
flavor
de luego,
Check out the public demo available now.
si cortas,
Please look forward to
pasa?
the full release of Kernel Hearts this
Si no
fall on
cortas, ¿no?
Steam, the Epic Games Store,
¿Qué?
the Microsoft
serán
Store, PlayStation
275.
5, Xbox Series S
De
and
racha.
X, and Nintendo Switch 2.
Oh, wow.
Fishbowl is a slow
Hello?
and tender narrative game about dreams, grief, and hope.
Hello?
Rediscover your memories and find your way into the present in this intimate experience where slice of life
¿Y esto no
meets
estaba en Black
surreal.
Voices?
In Fishbowl, 21-year-old Alo
A
gets
lo
her
mejor no
first
lo ha hecho
job
una
in a new
persona
city
negra.
and lives by herself while grieving her grandma's death.
¿Eso es una persona de color?
A young woman with purple
Bien.
hair explores her apartment, doing household chores.
La protagonista, pero que a lo mejor la persona que ha hecho el juego no es de
Her
color.
emotional state is shown via a meter on screen.
Bueno, pero la idea
Activity or depression
es que haya más representación, ¿no?
she feels able to
No, la
engage
idea es
She takes part
que
in
salgan ahí
video
gente
calls
de
with her
color
friends and
a decir sus
family,
cosas.
as well as having
Si tú eres una
flashbacks
persona
that
inclusiva,
Many of these memories center
pero no eres
around
de color,
her
te
grandmother.
comes una mierda.
Ah, vale, entiendo.
Claro,
Así va esto, ya veo.
efectivamente.
You rediscover memories of Alo's childhood by
Pues vaya
sorting through her
mierda
late
de moral.
grandma's things. Take your time
Vamos
to
a ver,
take in
el Black
each
Voices es
object.
para
There are
darle,
no time
como
limits
dice
here.
bien,
You can also choose to skip
espacio
the
a
puzzles
creadores
entirely.
creadores de
Fishbowl is a
videojuegos
visual novel about
Bueno,
especializados.
no lo hicieron muy bien tampoco, también te digo. Así
Ya
que-
lo
in a
sé.
new light.
Y
Have
soy amarillo.
conversations with your friends
Es
and
un Simpson.
coworkers. Turn off typing effects or increase the font size for an easier
Y encima la mayoría de juegos que vi eran gente, en plan, los protagonistas eran blancos. O sea,
for a social media
No me
star.
acuerdo de eso, la
In
verdad.
this arcade-style matching
Yo
game,
sí.
you can use both colors
Ese
and
es el de Mario.
icons to make sure the video clips reach the correct track. Slow down the speed of the snippets to suit your playstyle. Since the game deals with difficult topics, it starts with a gentle content warning, linking to a full content warning on our website that includes spoilers. As you slowly piece together the meaning of your dreams and memories, you learn more about the
Oh, the
dynamics in
memories.
Alo's world. The visual
Everybody
settings
wants
let
to
you
be my
turn off,
enemy.
screen shake, and sway. If you need to. We also have both visual and audio cues for events throughout the game. In Fishbowl, there are no right endings and no grinding. Do as much or as little as you're able to. Since we are a small team of 2, we weren't able to implement everything we wanted. Some of the things we couldn't get to were excluding the need for buttonholes during the unpacking puzzle and QuickTime
Coloca
event,
cosas en una
and
caja.
forcing some timed input
Bien
during the
colocadas.
QuickTime events.
Colócate
Fishbowl
bien,
is
bien
now
colocado,
On Steam and PlayStation
Colocado
5.
cabe.
Colócate, ahora.
Hello
¿Cómo-
everyone,
cómo lo
I am
sabe,
Sightless Combat award-winning multi-credited accessibility consultant and gamer without sight, as well as accessible gaming officer for RNIB, that is Royal National Institute of Blind People, the UK-based sight loss charity, and I am honoured to once again be returning to introduce a game at the Accessibility Summer Showcase. Now, the game in question is one that I had never heard of before this event, but was
Yo, la
very
Lancer
interested when I heard
dorada,
the
el
words
H Leviatán,
fully
este
blind
salió.
accessible
Me acuerdo del pavo
as a
este.
potential thing that was being aimed for during
Porque ha
development.
salido en directo y dije
Now,
lo mismo.
this game is very much under my radar, and it is very unusual.
Y
It is quirky, it is
del Halo, ¿no?
interesting,
Arriba a la
and I
izquierda.
reckon it has a sporting chance of
Sí,
being the
también,
highlight
también.
of people's shows. And also, the people who are really interested in it might be making a big racket
Halo
about
coche.
it. Yes, both of those are puns. Yes, both of those are relevant. Why are they relevant?
¿Tiene la pesca?
Because this game
Sí.
is the Tennis Academy. What is the Tennis Academy? In short, it is
Lo
an
único importante.
anime-inspired, yes, tennis RPG. Which sounds ridiculous when you think about it, but also sounds really, really cool. Particularly given I saw mention of giant boss fights and heroic tennis battles on the Steam page, which I would highly
La
recommend going
concha.
and wishlisting once you've seen the trailer if you like this. This is a solo game dev crafting this in Godot, which is also having accessibility work looked into by the community and various developers, which is really cool to see as well. I am really interested to see how this works
No sé si
when
te
it
rompo.
comes out and when there are
Ya lo
playable
sé.
builds and things. But without further ado, I will let the trailer do the explaining because I don't think I
Estás
could do this justice. Here is
Cazando
the
tortugas.
Tennis Academy.
A la sopa.
Asesino de especies.
Exaggerated anime characters
sopa.
compete in dramatic tennis gameplay.
Welcome
Tenis
to the Tennis Academy.
con un personaje
Hi,
de papel.
I'm Rob, the solo creator of the
No
Tennis
te
Academy,
pases.
an RPG
No te
early in
pases.
development.
Your tennis
Okay.
opponent is a water-themed boss who disappears
Dragon Ball, que
underwater
está
briefly
tirando
on
muchas.
dive receives.
Ah,
Humankind
De hecho, sigue
used to be at
tirando.
war until the goddess bestowed us with
Que
the
si no se
holy
raya el
sport
programa.
of tennis.
Sí,
You are
flota.
enrolled at New
tío, pues.
Tensington Academy,
Le ha servido
where
tirar
you meet a
bastante.
tennis ball fairy named Servi, acquire powerful tenergy skills, save the school from monsters, and go on romantic dates with your doubles partner.
Your tennis opponents are an orcish man and a gothic but sporty
Oh, tiene
vampire.
una ola, como Nami.
My goal is to make the game completely blind accessible, meaning a blind player can play the entire game without needing a sighted player for help, and have just as much fun playing as well. If I, as a solo developer, can do this, then AAA has no
¿Cómo?
excuse. To accomplish
Bueno, acaba de
this,
sacar
I'm
back to
implementing a
back
swath
3,
of accessibility features I'd like to share with you all. The first
Qué
feature for
locura.
navigation
Está
is a
quitando
virtual
todo lo
world.
gordo.
The right analog stick extends a line out into the top-down game
No,
world,
sigo
which
estándolo.
collides with world objects.
Este tío.
Researchers at Columbia University had promising results with this, and I think it could become standard practice in video games. Use the right stick to send out your cane, and the text-to-speech will tell you whatever it hits.
Street lamp. Tree.
For quick and easy navigation, there's also a nav menu that can warp you to important NPCs and exits.
Gym. Outside.
I'm also including audio descriptions for every environment. In any location, you can call Servi and ask her to describe the location in vivid detail as if your DM was describing a place in a D&D session.
Through the vaguely tennis ball-shaped window. Your
¿Cómo se llama el juego
suggests someone who's
este
chronically online.
del
While
niño
Messi
rubio con una
has
camisa de
won fights
tiras?
and a high school trophy. The bed, while Messi looks cozy with its
¿Cómo?
pink orange comforter.
By the way, did you know that there are blind tennis leagues in real life?
niño
Matches
rubio
in the game will take inspiration from
con una
this with
camiseta de
sound-adapted
tiras.
tennis balls and the option
Messi.
to auto-run to the
No,
ball.
ese no.
If you want to support your local queer indie game dev making a blind accessible game,
¿Sabes qué
you
pasa?
can
Que
help
es
me
una
out by
descripción muy
hitting the
genérica.
wishlist ball on Steam and
El
keeping
juego
up
es
with
así de
updates there
pixel.
or on my Blue Sky. Thanks for watching.
¿Earthbound?
Sigue siendo muy genérica.
Ah,
Earthbound, pero el Earth no tiene tirantes.
No he dicho tirantes, he dicho tiras.
Quiero decir camisa de rayas.
Sí.
Claro, claro, entonces sí, Earthbound, ¿sabes? Pero igualmente ese no es el prota.
No, es
Prota de 1.
Es el prota de 1, sí.
¿De cuál?
¿Del 3? ¿Del Modern 3?
¿Y sabe cómo se llama?
Como el pato.
Mauricio.
No, Luca, mi cojones con peluca,
Pues no,
¿Se ha
era
acabado ya?
era el Mother 3.
Bueno, Mother, Earthbound, sí.
Earthbound es el primero, luego está Mother. Y mamá.
Pues ha terminado. No me da ni
Sí.
cuenta, la verdad. O
Se
sea,
acaba de
no,
golpe.
no me da
No,
ni cuenta.
Es que se acaba de golpe, también te digo.
Es como el Assassin's Creed este, que dice, se terminó y se acabó.
Pues nada, ha estado bien.
Está curioso. ¿Ha habido alguna
Por favor,
cosita así chula?
¿puede dejar de tirar la caña consecutivamente?
No.
Que va a rayar el programa.
Sí, me gustaría que dejases de tirar la caña porque yo quiero hacer otras cosas.
Pues te aguanto. Sabes que te puedo banear, ¿no?
O sea, quiero jugar con Juanqui al Borderlands ahora.
No, solo... Ah, pues me voy.
Claro, es que hemos dicho antes, tal. Como la siguiente es a las 11, pues aprovechamos y jugamos. ¿O qué hacemos? Yo también estoy cansado, la verdad.
Sí, ¿quieres dejarlo y luego abrir otra vez?
Pues luego abro. Vale, tenemos que esperar ahora.
Ábreme esta, perro.
Ábreme esta, perro.
Sí, ¿qué pasa?
Perro Sánchez, ábreme esta.
Perro Sánchez.
¿Estás ahí? Joder, aún hay 12 en la línea. Me cago en la puta ahora
Ya.
mismo. Te mato, ¿eh? Te agarro y te destruyo. Estaría bien poder hacer... En plan, que pescase más rápido, la verdad.
Ponle
No
por
puedes.
dos. Por dos de pesca.
No tiene de eso.
No,
¿O sí?
no. No.
¿No hay un 1.1 en la esquina? ¿O un 11? Ah, no, es la línea.
¿Esto?
El 11
Sí.
son las que quedan, ¿no?
Sí.
Anyways. Ya me quiere robar la gamba. Joder. Success.
Siete, madre mía. Los que quedan aún.
Ya.
Seis.
Stay. Sí, hombre.
A ver, aún le quedan 27.000 puntos para alcanzar a los tops.
5.
Recruitamiento.
Bien.
Ah.
4.
Ah, si han salido los dos iguales de uno para otro, coño.
Ah, que tú también has tirado.
Coño.
Yo sí, claro.
Pero qué poca vergüenza que tiene.
Pero que, joder. Dragon Ball 84.000. Keonen 3.
Yuhu.
Mira el
¡Que no
Wahoo.
tires más! ¡Que no! Vamos a ver. ¡Que me quiero ir! ¿Pero de qué vais? O sea, estoy esperando, no estoy diciendo nada. Estoy súper paciente. ¿Y tiras otra vez? Este tío es un pedazo de troll.
Mira, una bicicleta.
La bicicleta me ha dejado todo por culo, coño. Qué pesadilla, tío. Ay.
Que no tires, que me dejes, suéltame.
Yo no tengo coche.
Dos.
Ay, voy a empezar a hacer la red. No, da igual lo que aparezca.
Uno.
¡Y le sale uno de tres! ¡No puede ser verdad!
Este tío.
Venga, la corona, te vas coronado, cabrón. Venga. Qué barbaridad.
Qué locura.
Ay, de verdad.
Pero como tienes el rate de que salgan cosas...
Yo, normal. Vale, gente, gracias por haber estado.
Esa es tu opinión.
Espero que os haya gustado y nos vemos a las 11 con La Tocha. Adeu.
La estación de tren.
¿Atocha?